Thanks. It's Lucinda from Co-Design. Thank you so much all for your presentations. My question is for Ramana. Thanks for sharing the insights and quite challenging thoughts about technology that can speak and order milk for us. I'm just interested to know, there's obviously a huge range of studies that have been done about happiness, and I guess one prominent one that comes to mind is by the Young Foundation and looks at the correlation between happiness and people's control or decision making over their lives. And I'm just curious in your comments about whether you feel the types of Internet of Things would in fact lead to people feeling more empowered over their lives or less?
That's a good question. I think the technologies themselves are creating an environment where you can personalise even more, so you can take greater control, and I can choose who I want to speak to. And I've got a personal passion about 1970s motor cars, and there are other enthusiasts, and I'm able to do that by connecting them through the technology that I may not have been able to do in the past. So there's a greater ability to personalise within your home. I think the challenge is to make sure that that doesn't become isolation in itself, that doesn't drive towards an island where we get stuck playing with things and communicating with only our things in our home. But yes, the ability to make decisions ourselves is a critical part of happiness and the empowerment to do that. I think if the technology is imagining it properly and if we're visioning where it should go and how we use it, then it should give us the chance to do that more rather than less.
Other questions from the audience? I know I have lots here, but this is your opportunity. All right, we've got there's two. Michael, if you can go to the lady just here in the white, and then we'll come to Rupert next.
Hi, I've got a question for Joan. Sorry. I really liked your assessment of all the different options for finance. What I didn't, see was who should be leading it. Obviously, it's a public opportunity, but it's interesting to see how you think there might be, or what other mechanisms, city councils, or is it state government, and is that something you looked at? Obviously, you looked at a range of different options. Is there a level of government that should be involved in getting these things to work, especially in a kind of devolved government framework? And what was your advice about that looking forward?
One of my slides was the 4 types of programs. I didn't get to talk about the other ones. The first one was publicly led, so this is when the government delivers and funds the retrofits themselves, and that's entirely local government, because you need to do that at a pretty defined community that you need to be able to trust the people coming in, and often that's a local government or very NGO aligned local government, non-government organisation. So a lot of the successes we saw were led by local government. At the other end, the private sector does things that are clearly financially viable. So ESCOs, local energy companies, so the private sector can get involved in there. In the residential market, very limited opportunity for profitable activities that corporations get involved in. Probably apartment buildings are the only places. Low income housing, no way. Individual detached housing, too much hassle. So I would say the local government can fund and deliver hands-on stuff at the left, the private sector on the right, and to get the massive scale, probably at the state government or national government level, to set up the de-risking mechanism.
Thank you, Joan. A question at the front here.
Yeah, Rupert Posner from Good Environmental Choice. Paul, quick one to you. Congratulations, great project, really looked impressive. Just wondering, I know it's probably a bit unusual, but any idea of the sort of costs involved in sort of transforming a house like that? I know it's not quite normal. And secondly, is it something that's set up now so that people can go and look at it?
Yes, the question of cost is, of course, one that just about everybody has straight off the bat. And it was a one-off project, and we had to modularise the house and all those sorts of things. But for all 3 levels, all 3 tiers of retrofits, the total cost would have been about $250,000. That's what the students reckon. So it's quite a lot of money for that one-off process. But some of our next steps in our research is actually looking at the supply chains and the realistic costs of replicating and scaling this, which is those 2 words that we use many times at this conference. answer to your question about is the house available for people to view, we're just finishing off the final build, so it's located right next to our Sustainable Buildings Research Centre and the Wollongong Science Centre, and probably in about a month or so's time we'll be in a position to actually show people through.
So you're sure that's the last time you're putting it together?
That's certainly the last time I'm going to be there.
And a question from the gentleman in the red chair.
Yeah, David Barnett, Stockland. Thank you for terrific range of presentations. My question is for Simon. Your tool you presented, which I think is a really fascinating idea and a great opportunity, but it seemed to present a point in time. Does it also consider like what happens over 5 or 10 years? Because I can imagine if I move in and I have a 2-year-old, obviously in 4 years I'm going to be concerned about where that school is.
Yes, it's a valid question, and all of those complexities are being worked through, but certainly that's the intention, that part of the profile that one would enter, you may have seen flash through my very fast slides, was the expected potential for change in your household configuration. For example, if kids were on the way, or if kids were growing up towards school age, or if your kids were nearing the end of school and so on. So we're certainly looking to implement those sorts of dynamics, but with literally a myriad of considerations to be factored in, where it's quite a laborious process to kind of work through each element and work through how it can be firstly measured, valued financially, and also I guess adapted over time. But part of the ultimate aim, I guess, is towards encouraging a more diverse mix of housing and a more diverse demand for different types of housing, towards encouraging urban areas that are more diverse in themselves, to give that sort of flexibility, at least locally, for ageing in place and so on. But it's certainly an important consideration, and one that will